Hi, welcome to Pa Pae Meditation Retreat. We're currently in the north of Thailand in the Lamna region at about an hour and a half north of Chiang Mai on the road to Pai. And this is where I learned meditation.
So meditation is an exercise which helps us to become centered in the present moment. Most people are out of touch with reality, either worrying too much about the future or thinking too much about the past. They miss the present moment. So meditation helps us to come back to the present moment and allow us to find the joy of being, just being, with no thinking or worrying or doing or any of these things, just the simplistic joy of being. Through meditation, we can come to find that in the stillness of the mind, in the absence of all of that excessive mental activity and identification, there is a profound and pure happiness, peace, joy, contentment, tranquility coming from within the self. And it's always there, we're just not quite in tune with it because we're out of touch with that aspect of ourselves. But it is there, and we can come to experience that directly for ourselves when we focus on centering ourselves and stilling the mind and finding our balance. We can come to see just how out of balance we are in the way in which we're living our lives when we do practice meditation and we find our balance and realize what it is that's conducive to balance, which is the stillness of the mind. We can come to find that it's the mind, the activity of the mind, the identification with the mind, which is solely responsible for all of our suffering. So when we disidentify from the mind through practicing meditation, we can find the antidote to all of our problems. But this sounds really good on an intellectual level. Once again, it doesn't make a difference unless you actually practice and experience it directly for yourself, which is what the Lord Buddha was talking about when he said, Ehi pasiko. His most famous teaching from my perspective means come and see for yourself. So in our tradition, we practice the middleway meditation technique. The middleway, proclaimed by the Lord Buddha, was the most direct route towards realizing nirvana. It means majjhima patipada, or middle path. So it just means avoiding the two extremes, essentially. The extreme of self-mortification, which is pushing oneself too hard, and the other extreme of self-indulgence, which is just getting too caught up in sensory gratification and not working hard enough. So it's making the right effort is what will be the most direct route towards nirvana. So we want to just make effort consistently every single day. That's it. In our meditation, we want to make the right effort, and that's it. That's all it comes down to. And then we just have three techniques that we use. So we have a mantra, which is just a word or a phrase that we repeat over and over and over and over and over when we're meditating. That's all we're doing, just focusing on one thing. The mantra is Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, Samma Arahang, and we just repeat it like this. If we sit for 10 minutes in meditation, we repeat it for just 10 minutes. If we sit for an hour in meditation, we repeat it for an hour. And that's what we do. We train the mind on a single point. The next object is a crystal ball. So a crystal ball is a visual object that we use in meditation. So the aim is just to imagine the crystal ball and do your best to maintain your awareness upon that single point uninterrupted for as long as you can. That can be for visually inclined people. And then the third technique is a point within the body. It's the center of the body. So it's 2 finger widths above the navel and in like the direct center. And the idea is just to keep the mind still, focused upon this point, and just allow it to be still. And sit there without asking questions, without trying to control it, without trying to interpret the experience, but just let it be still. Don't react to anything or respond to anything. Just disengage from all the thoughts, emotions and sensations which arise, and allow the mind to sit in stillness.
So my impressions about the place. Well, the funny thing is I found this retreat really by chance, because I was actually on my road to Pai to visit the city and the surroundings, as I was staying in Chiang Mai with two of my friends, Victor and Noah. And well, I was on my bike, and when you ride a long time on the bike, you start to your butts start to hurt, and well, to relax my cheeks, I wanted to do a stop, and well, I was looking at the side of the road. I saw a sign about it was like a temple, and I was interested to stop by and maybe walk around. But as I turned left, so when I visited the village in which I thought there was a temple, there were none. I did not find anything, but I saw a sign on the road. I saw a meditation retreat. At first I did not know what to expect, and well, I was still curious, so I stopped by. I walked the stairs, I climbed the hill, and I found this moon hall. Well, I saw moon hall signs at first, and then I saw some people meditating. Well, not meditating, but I saw people in white talking to a monk and listening to what he said. And the monk spoke perfect English. At first I was like, oh, it's just a sect. People are in white, and it was a pretty weird ambiance. But as I listened to what the monk was saying, I was finding it pretty interesting. It was insightful, and well, I was, let's say I was interested. But I still had Pai in mind. I wanted to go back on the road because I still had 2 hours of riding, and well, I did not want to waste my time any longer. But as I climbed down, I found one of the disciples dressed in white, and I asked her a few questions about the place, and I think that she convinced me. She convinced me to stay. I stayed 2 days here. So actually that was last week, and now I came back with Victor because I convinced him to come too. And I think that this retreat has convinced me to pay more attention about myself, and more importantly is it convinced me to start a daily practice of meditation, because I think that it is a habit to have, and it is primordial in a world where everything moves so quickly, and well, we don't have time for ourselves. And I think that meditation is the practice that gives you a bit more freshness, a bit more time for yourself, a bit more calm. And I mean, this retreat is, I think, especially wonderful for beginners, as it teaches you how to start a daily practice, what are the main methods, but even for experienced practitioners, I think that this place has an incredible setting where you can meditate, like here in the forest hall, or well, there are other halls where you can meditate, and it's just so calm away from the city, in the mountains. It's an amazing place. So I highly recommend this retreat. Come to Pa Pae Meditation Retreat. you won't regret it. And see you in the next, see you soon, I hope, for another video.
At the right moment, yeah. When the mind is still enough, and we'll realize it because we'll stay, okay, wow, I'm very still. I've never felt this way before. What's next? What's next? The mind's instantly thinking, okay, what's next? Now that we're here, where do we go? That's just like the conditioning of like society and our culture in our contemporary sort of world. But the key is just to stay there without asking those questions or without being attached to those questions. The question might arise, but we just let it go. So yeah, the technique will just help to get us there, and then we experience this kind of state. Like we don't know, the mind can't interpret what's happening because there's no thoughts, there's stillness, and it's like, it's kind of a bit of an implosion rather. And then immediately the mind will start freaking out a little bit and saying, I'm dead. Yeah, it feels like annihilation because like this, like, it's a very interesting sort of thing. So, yeah.
Deuxième prise. Est-ce que je me mette là du coup? Putain, ça fait trop bizarre. Ok. Après, je sais pas quoi dire. Hi, welcome to... Ah, putain. Hi, welcome to... Hi, welcome to... Hi, welcome to the retreat. Hi, welcome to... Hi. That